Our next fascinating historic site as we continue to explore ancient Egypt is the temple complex at Karnak. There's a magnificent series of sphinxes out front. They used to stretch for several miles all the way to Luxor Temple. And they have these very friendly guides who work at Karnak Temple and indeed at nearly all of the archaeological sites in Egypt. You'll run into these fellows. They're employed by the government to work as guides and to help explain things to people and also to point out some camera angles for you. And we're going to be touring it with our local guide.
Karnak again is a temple that was built over 1700 years. The oldest parts of this temple are the innermost parts. Additions kept being made towards the outside, where we are over here, until that addition over here by the last Egyptian king. Many kings added to Karnak. The king who finished the great hall of columns, that next hall facing us over there, was Ramses II. When Ramses II finished that hall, there was nothing yet of all what surrounds us here. These were later additions by other kings. After Ramses, his grandson, called Seti II, added the 3 shrines for the worship of the triad of Thebes. Ammon the god, his wife the goddess Mut, goddess of the waters. The shrine to the left over here, that's for the goddess Mut. The sphinxes that were in the middle here, they were moved to the sides, like over there. And the whole temple here was painted. Of course, most of the color in the original temple as well is gone by now. We'll see only traces of it to give us an idea about how it was painted when we go around. A mud brick ramp, which tell us that probably they made a ramp going around that wall when they were building it, to slide the stones up higher. Of course, when they finished building the wall, they started removing the ramp, but when the work stopped, part of it wasn't removed on this side over here. This is good though for us because this is one of our rare sources of information about how they build a wall high like this. And from here came the theory about the pyramids, because we didn't know a fact of how they built them, so it was assumed probably a ramp like this went around the pyramids, and that's how they built them. This way, please. So we are still within the complex of Karnak, but looking at the outer walls of the temple of Ammon over here. And we can see that this wall was finished and was decorated. But then the other extension that was made by the last king, Naknebu II, was not finished. They call this the open air museum. Looking at the outer wall of the temple, it's decorated with war scenes. The 2 kings who done most of the work were the kings Seti I and his son Ramses II. And King Seti I had already conquered during his time lots of kingdoms. The biggest was called the kingdoms of the Hittites, a kingdom that occupied, or the lands of the Hittites occupied what we know nowadays as Syria and Lebanon, and also some parts of southern Turkey and north of Jordan. All that was a big kingdom of the Hittites. So the king Seti I conquered that, and they dominated it. It became considered like an Egyptian colony over there. Had Egyptian ruler of that area. When the king Seti I died, his son Ramses II took over. But when the king died, the Hittites thought this is their chance to get their independence. So Ramses, of course, started planning to punish them for that. He didn't want to lose what his father gained before. Ramses, for that, started the first recorded mobilization in history, where he was able to mobilize an army of 20,000 warriors. He was leading himself the first of the legions. Back then, kings were right in the front of the army. They don't send them, but they go ahead of them. So he was leading his army when they approached the lands of the Hittites, and camping there one night, the soldiers of Ramses caught 2 spies who were spying around their camp. And they were brought to Ramses, who ordered that they should be beaten and tortured, so they get from them information. What did they want to know? They wanted to know where are the armies of the Hittites gathered for them. So after beating the spies and torturing them a little bit, they confessed that the armies are waiting across a river. Ahead of them was called the river of Alas. Actually, those spies were meant to be sent to fall in the hands of Ramses and give him this wrong information. Okay? So Ramses believed the spies, and he rushed with his army to the river. One way leading to the river in a valley between mountains. The armies of the Hittites were around the mountains leading to the river, and there he was ambushed. And he was even about to be killed in that battle. He was so fortunate that his army stood by him until the second legion arrives and then the war starts to turn to a fair balance. We cannot say there was a victory to any side, even though Ramses came back to Egypt to speak the rest of his life about his great victory over the Hittites. The Hittites recorded in their history the great victory over Ramses II and the Egyptians. But the fact is that this war ended with the first recorded peace treaty in history, signed between Ramses and the king of the Hittites. And part of the deal was when Ramses got married to the daughter of the king of the Hittites. And she was one of his 48 known wives to us. So he was a very busy man, Ramses II, and married the daughter of the king of the Hittites. So probably they found out that going into war is not the right thing. So he stopped the war halfway and made a peace treaty. And finally, Ramses comes back married to the daughter of the king of the Hittites. My army left me. I got off my horse, I fought, and I won. This is his description of what happened. And of course, this is what he is showing all over Egypt. So he started decorating walls of temples with war scenes. He is the only one fighting against all the Hittites. If you look over, so you look over here, and here's the enemy. They're all shattered, throwing like, that's him by himself. And the enemies, and they're all, the arrows getting them, and they're falling and dying under the feet of his horse. Up there, he's striking him with the sword. Up on the other side with a harpoon in his hand, killing one of their generals. It's all him fighting the Hittites, practically, and of course he had the victory. But this is how he wanted to show it. And here he is coming back victorious. You can see his head raised up. He's looking back in pride. Proud of what he'd done. He's won his war, and he's coming back leading lots of prisoners of war. Can you see them? Those prisoners are all tied, hands behind their backs or behind their heads, as you can see, and all tied to one another, all tied to the ropes that go into the king's hand, as if he's pulling them all by himself. And the other hand is presenting them as an offering. Who are the gods he's making his offering to? First one is Ammon, the god of that temple, of this temple over here. Ammon is the god who has the human form and the two long feathers over the head. Behind him, the goddess, we've seen her in the museum yesterday, the lioness-headed goddess called Sekhmet, goddess of war. Of course, she's the one who supported him and gave him the victory. The third is Khonsu, god of the moon. Can you see on top of his head there's the figure of a crescent, and then on top of it a full moon. The two forms of the moon, crescent and full moon. And then the fourth one, a very important goddess, her name was Ma'at. And Ma'at, with the bent feather over her head, was goddess of justice. And of course, the king, dedicating his victory to her, he wants to say that what he went to fight for was for justice. And of course, the big scene, which shows the king with one hand, he is holding all his enemies from their hair with one hand, while with the other hand, the typical victory scene, holding a mace head in his other hand and striking them with it. And that's the typical victory scene, showing that the king here had his victory over his enemies, and he's slaying them before Ammon, the god of the temple, who is giving him a knife. So as if Ammon is giving the king a knife. He wants to say that it was the will of Ammon to go and fight and slay the people of the Hittites. So he did that for God. That's what he wants to say over here.